Hey everyone, welcome to my new video series. This might sound a little crazy, but I want to build a flight sim in Minecraft with just redstone. After I finished my last video, which was a 7x15 color display using shulker boxes, which if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I started trying to build a flight sim, but I hit a roadblock and I have to rebuild. So because I have to start over, I figured why not bring you guys along for a series so you can see how I design and build these kinds of machines. I'm going to use my same building workflow as I did with the last couple of projects, which if you haven't seen my chess computer, go check it out. I built a fully playable chess computer with AI, and that machine was huge, but I think this machine is going to be even bigger. So since this is going to be one big redstone machine, I have to make sure all the chunks are loaded all the time. I've mapped out an area around the spawn chunks with instant wire. You can see that everything's loaded because if I update one of the sides of the instant wire here, it travels all the way around to the other side. I know I can load more chunks with things like stasis chambers, but one of my goals for this project is to have everything fit inside of these spawn chunks. So we're not starting with nothing. You can see I deleted most of the things in this world, but what I'm keeping is everything required to build this screen. Alright, let me build the screen and show it in action. The way I'm going to build it, and the way I'm going to build everything, is using the clone command. And because I don't want to type out 100 clone commands every time, I generate a data pack which contains all of those commands and then just run that from the command line. You can use whatever tool you want for this kind of thing. You could even use Excel, and once the file is generated, this is what it looks like. And then to execute, you reload and run the data pack. Alright, here the machine is built out of all the components over there. And if I start it up, you can see TNT dropping, TNT coming up the bubble columns, and it clears just the shulker boxes without touching the dispensers behind them. And one game tick later, the dispensers dispense the next shulker box, making the next frame. When you look through stained glass and change your graphics settings to fast, it hides the particle effects from the explosions. Even though the TNT clears the shulker boxes one game tick before the dispensers dispense the next shulker box, like you see here, you don't see the screen flicker because of the update order of block and tile events. The arrangement of TNT allows me to fully clear each frame about 99.8% of the time. That comes out to about one dead pixel every 500 frames. And the refresh rate is 2.5 Hz, so 2.5 frames per second. Let's talk about some constraints I want to apply to this project. The first and most obvious one is it has to be done in vanilla Minecraft with just redstone. That means no mods, no command blocks, no texture packs. The next I've already mentioned, I want everything to fit inside of the spawn chunks. Third, I'd love for this machine to be playable, so I want it to be as fast as possible and responsive to user input. And fourth, I need it to be as lag friendly as I can make it, because I'm still building all of this on my laptop. You'll notice I'm using some command blocks here to start the machine, but that's okay. If I use them for testing and building, that's fine, as long as they're not used in the final machine. Alright, now let's look at some of these components in more detail. Let's start with the screen in the center. When I was designing this, I tried a lot of different orientations, but a ceiling mounted display was the only one I could get to work. The reason for that is you have to power these dispensers, and with any other orientation there just isn't enough space. Right now, these dispensers are just loaded with different color shulker boxes. With this setup, it's easy enough to cycle through different frames by just repeating this pattern upward, but this only allows me to store preset frames, not respond to user input. So I need to figure out a way to dynamically inject different color shulker boxes for different pixels. This is where I went wrong previously. I tried to do that from the top down, because if I come in from the side, we'd have to bridge the gap of the falling TNT. But we'll get back to that later. For now, let's have a look at some of the other components. One of the challenges of this machine is that it has a refresh rate of 8 game ticks. That means the TNT needs to explode every 8 game ticks without affecting the next TNT that needs to explode in the same spot. I tried shooting the TNT horizontally to achieve this, but found that a much easier way to do it was to use falling TNT. This control circuit up here drops TNT around the perimeter of the screen. The TNT on the shorter sides of the screen gets launched into the center, while the TNT on these sides explodes down here. Something I needed to account for was the order in which the TNT explodes. The reason for that is that the TNT coming in from the sides actually clear the majority of the shulker boxes. However, if they don't explode first, then they have a chance of destroying the dispensers behind the shulker boxes, since the shulker boxes will have already been destroyed. The way I did that was by controlling the update order in which the TNT gets dispensed. By using different delay components, you can ensure that the game always updates in the same order, even if everything happens in the same tick. And finally, let's look at the bubble columns. Here, the biggest problem was that TNT rising up in a bubble column is slow enough that when it detonates, it affects the TNT below it. So I added this component that pulses a piston between every detonation, protecting the TNT below. Finally, I had to find the right hitbox to ensure that the TNT was at the right height, and this crystal was the perfect size. Alright, that covers all the components. So what I want to do now is clean these units up so they're more lag friendly. That means getting rid of as much redstone wire as I can and putting everything on clocks. Since this whole machine is going to be running on 8 game ticks, I figured it would be less laggy to have clocks scattered throughout the machine instead of having one big control circuit that sends pulses everywhere. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, here we are. I'm pretty happy with how clean these turned out. And we got a slight performance improvement, but every little bit counts. So you can see I've got no more redstone wire. I'm mostly using rails. And I've now got clocks everywhere, so to start the machine, we simply start all of the clocks at just the right time. Alright, that'll do it for this episode. Next time we're going to try building the machine to send the shulker boxes across this TNT gap into the screen. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.